welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at Generator. Generator is a rank 9 deck where most of the main deck monsters are boss monsters on their own. They're big and beefy and have their own unique powerful quick effects with the cost of tributing 2 guys, which sounds like a lot, but is kind of mitigated by the field spell that just gives you a full board of tokens for you to tribute with. The deck also has a focus of letting your opponent draw cards, which triggers both the effect of boss stage to summon a big guy from your deck for free, and also the hand rip effect of Ha. Even though most main deck generators are boss monsters on their own, the true boss monster is in the extra deck. Leviathan has perhaps the best form of quick effect removal in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, being able to non-target attach multiple cards to it as it sees material as a quick effect. If you play this deck in the TCG or even Master Duel, you will probably quickly realize that there's a slight problem with this deck in Duel Link specifically, which is that we only have 3 monster zones, which means boss stage's effect can only summon 2 tokens maximum instead of 4. But worry not, because we do have a skill that's technically not custom made for Generator specifically because it supports level 9 decks in general, but might as well be, because realistically, what other level 9 decks are you playing anyway? So let's have a look at the deck. We'll start off with the skill. The skill is a specific skill that is used by Quinton. It lets you normal summon level 9 monsters without tributing, which is huge, and also it gives you an extra normal summon as long as one of them is used to summon a level 9 monster. And also if your opponent is the only one who controls a monster, you can shuffle 2 cards from your hand or field into the deck and then play a Dyson Sphere from your extra deck face down, attach 2 guys to it from outside your deck, and then add an Exceed spell card from your deck to your hand. So this effect is really good, but we will not be using it in the free-to-play version because unfortunately, it summons from your own extra deck. So Dyson Sphere is an ultra rare from a main box that's completely unrelated, so we're not playing it, and that's also why we're not playing an Exceed spell card. So in the expensive version, we will be playing a copy of Dyson Sphere plus spell card that we can search off the skill because this effect is really strong. But it's kind of annoying that the skill shuffles 2 cards from hand or field, but it requires your opponent to control a monster only. So you can't, do your combo a bit and then have some monsters on your field. Maybe you get negated or get flipped face down, and then you shuffle those back into your deck to use your skill. You can't do that because it can only activate if only your opponent controls a monster. It's not like let's say the Utopia skill where you can shuffle set cards from your field if you get interrupted midway. So this skill, it's kind of annoying that it's less good than those other skills, but I mean it still gives you a free guy plus a spell, which is quite a lot of advantage. So can't really complain too much. But shuffling back 2 cards from your hand at the very beginning of your turn is kind of costly sometimes. Anyway, let's have a look at the actual deck. We are playing 2 copies of Valor. This card is usually the way you spam level 9 monsters in like the regular version of generators in like the TCG, because you can't, just normal summon a guy for free. Skills don't exist in the TCG. So this guy can special summon itself by sending 1 other generator card from your hand to the graveyard, and then on summon can special summon a generator monster from your hand or graveyard, so you can just summon back the thing that you sent. And this will also trigger if you special summon it using another effect, which will come up. We have 3 copies of Rose Paladin. The first effect does not matter. We only use that for the effect where we can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and add a level 7 or higher plant monster from your deck to your hand. It searches 1 target specifically, and it's going to be Mardell. This card, when summoned, can add any generator card from your deck to your hand, or a plant, but we will not be adding plants. It will be either adding Valor, which gives us more level 9 guys on our field to Exceed summon, or we're going to add the field spell, which we will talk about later. We have 2 copies of Lopter. This is the only level 4 main deck guy we have, aside from, I guess, Rose Paladin, which we will never be summoning. This thing can tribute itself, usually. You can technically tribute something else, but usually it tributes itself as a quick effect during either player's main phase to summon a generator from your deck. So this is another way that you can just cheat out the level 9 guys without needing to summon them from your hand. Now let's have a look at the level 9 quote-unquote boss monsters that we have in the main deck. The biggest one is going to be Ha. This card is an Omni-Negate. So all of the generators have effects that tribute to monsters. It can tribute itself to just do something. So Ha can negate anything, and it also has a bonus effect where if your opponent adds a card from the deck to your hand, including drawing, which we will be forcing them to do with some of our card effects. We can use the effect of Ha to force them to send a monster from their hand or field to the graveyard. It is not random, they get to choose, but they must choose a monster, which is quite good for us. And this is usually what we will be summoning the most often. And then the second one will be either Nidhogg or Utgard, whatever this card is. So this one negates special summons. It only negates inherent special summons. I won't go into too much detail. Basically, it's if you don't summon a monster with an effect. So there's either inherent special summons or effect special summons. So if you say Synchro Summon or Xyz Summon or Link Summon, those are inherent special summons, you can negate it with Nidhogg. Or we can make it this guy. This guy can quick effect banish a card on the field. Banishes any card, so you can use this to clear back row as well. So depending on the situation, you will be summoning either one or even two of these three monsters. And if you are running low on deck space, you can theoretically cut one of the less good ones, let's say Nidhogg or the other one, uh, if you need more space in your deck. Because Ha is by far the best one because it negates anything. For the spells, we're playing one Terraforming to search Boss Stage, which is the field spell of this deck. This card is basically the cornerstone of this entire strategy. This entire deck revolves around this card. So this card has two effects. Once per turn, if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, this includes your opponent's draw phase. So if you activate this card, you end your turn, your opponent goes draw phase, draw a card. It will trigger boss stage, and then it will use its effect to special summon a generator monster from your deck in defense position. And so this is one of the most reliable ways you can use to get out these big beefy boss monsters that have really good effects. And also when you special summon generator monster during your opponent's turn, including with its own effect, you can then special summon as many generator tokens as possible in attack position, but they are destroyed during the end phase. So this is what will give you the free monsters for your guys to tribute with, because all of your main deck boss monsters need to tribute to generator monsters to use their quick effects. So this is the way that you will be getting free guys to tribute with. In the TCG or Master Duel, you get a 5 monster zones, so you can special summon 4 tokens usually because you use the effect to summon a generator monster, and then that triggers the second effect to summon 4 other tokens. But in Duel Links, we usually summon 2 or sometimes even 1, but that's still fine. That's still not too big of a deal. And finally, we have 3 copies of Powerful Rebirth. This can be any staple that you want to play, maybe like Book of Eclipse, like in the expensive version, or even like Book of Moon. It can be back row removal. I like to play Powerful Rebirth because it allows you to summon back your Lopter, which during your opponent's turn can tag out into another generator monster. So this is basically a way that you can summon a generator monster from your deck during your opponent's turn. And because you can summon during their turn, you can choose to summon anything you need depending on the situation. Depending on what deck you are playing against. For the extra deck, we are playing some random stuff. We will never be making these, but we might as well play them. Just random links and rank 9 XEs. But the main two are these two. Leviathan is a ridiculous boss monster. It is it uses 2 or more level 9 monsters as an Xyz material. You can only control one of this card. Same with all of the other generators, by the way. So you can't have like multiple Mardells, for example. So if you're wondering why you can't, why the game doesn't let you special summon this card, usually it's because you already have one on your field. So this card has a really strong quick effect. You can use it even during your turn to clear your opponent's monsters, or even back row. And you can just tribute this card, and then special summon a non-fairy generated Xyz monster, which we only have one target, so it's always going to be this guy. And then you can attach cards from any field or graveyard to that special summoned monster as material up to the number of materials that this card had before you tributed itself. So usually it's going to be 2 monsters. Sometimes if you have more materials under it, it can be free, but usually it's just 2 cards. And you just get to put them under this card, put it under the Yomangada. And you can just put them under it. It's non-targeting, it's not destruction, it's really strong. And you can even get rid of stuff in the graveyard if you need to. So yeah, one of the best forms of removal just in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you also get to tag out into this guy, which is not really that good. This guy is like fine. So this card basically has an attack boosting effect depending on a number of materials that this card has, and also has a quick effect to detach one, and then both players draw a card, and then both players attaches one card from their hand into this card. So it's like kind of a hand rip, but not really, because your opponent gets to choose what they attach to it, and also they get a free draw, which is not that fantastic, but it does trigger the field spell, which is the important part of this card. So not really a good effect, but it does trigger the field spell, and you get another free generator from the deck for free. So yeah, that's pretty much the free-to-play version of the deck. Let's have a look at the expensive version. So not too much has changed in the expensive version, but there is a big difference because we can actually play the Dyson Sphere that we need to play with our skill. So you can make this card usually at the very beginning of your turn. If you go second, you immediately make this card because the skill can only be used if only your opponent controls a monster. So you'll be making this card, shuffling 2 cards that you don't need back to your deck, and then you add Xyz Burst, which is basically Heavy Storm. It destroys all set cards your opponent controls, including monsters. If they're playing like Subterrors, you can also pop their monsters, which is pretty funny. And you can also play other Xyz spells. Doesn't have to be Xyz Burst. You can play Xyz Import, which puts one of your opponent's monsters under your Xyz monster as material. But this deck is kind of lacking back row removal, so that's why we're playing Xyz Burst. But depending on like the meta or your own preference, you can play other spells as well. And we are playing more copies of the super rares. We're playing free Vala because this card is pretty important to be able to special summon back the generators from your graveyard. This is what gives your deck the grind game, because both Lobter and the field spell only summons from your deck. So once you summon like your Ha and then it gets destroyed, you can't summon another one. But you can summon a Vala, which can revive the Ha. So that is why we don't need to play more than one copy of Ha. We can just summon the Vala and then bring back the Ha if it ever gets destroyed or sent to the graveyard. So this is very important for us to get more of a grind game. And then we're just playing less copies of Rose Paladin because we have more starters. And I can also mention that terraforming can technically be a copy of Reinforcement of the Army. So instead of searching the field spell, you're just searching Rose Paladin, and then Rose Paladin searches Mardella, and Mardella can be normal summoned without tributing because of his skill, and you can just add any generator card to your hand, including the field spell that you can search. So that's also something that you can do. Yeah, but depending on your preference, you can choose either one. We're still playing free Book of Eclipse just as a generically good staple that we can play. So with that said, let's have a look at some replays. Okay, so we are in the replays right now. Our first game, we're going first against the Winged Dragon of Ra. So let's see what this deck is able to do. So the turn 1 board of this deck is pretty straightforward. You now first get access to Mardell, which we can do using the Rose Paladin to search it. We can normal summon it without tributing because of our skill, and then we can add whatever we're missing. So we can add the boss stage in this situation, and then we can use the Lopter to grab ourselves a Valor, and then summon them back a level 9, and then make the Exceeds, and then we activate boss stage and pass. And then during our opponent's draw phase, they draw a card, which triggers boss stage. We can get a heart on our field and then summon a token. And then because they search the card, we can force them to pitch a monster, which they can only choose the Winged Dragon of Ra. And then they're going to try to search a True Sun God, use Ancient Chance effect, and then on activation of the True Sun God, we can chain the Leviathan, and then just suck up everything, and because we used it on activation of the spell card doesn't resolve because it's a continuous spell, and then we can just win. They can't really do anything, and we still have one negate from the Ha, and the level 4 Lopter can tag out into another generator depending on the situation. So that's a lot of disruptions for just in the engine. That's like, what, a hand rip, a suck, and then a negate, and one of the other 2 generators depending on the situation. So that's quite a lot. Okay, second game, we are going second. This deck is okay going second, especially in the expensive version because we just get the Dyson Sphere for free. But in the free-to-play version, we will be struggling a bit because we don't have access to the free Exceeds monster plus the back row wipe. But our opponent is playing Dragonic Contact, which is a deck that doesn't put out that many interruptions, so we can probably still do it. Our opponent will be putting a Neos on the field. Probably it's going to be target for Super Poly. So what we're going to do is we're going to make Leviathan, and then we toggle on so that on summon we can immediately tag out, and then non-target just suck up both of their back row. So their back row is Super Poly and a copy of Countergate. And well, this is Plat because it's a new season, so people are probably not going to be playing the most optimal cards, but that should be still fine. We could still probably try to win this turn, even though boss stage summons in defense, because we can still make it rank 9. And then Leviathan just has a continuous effect that lowers our opponent's attack by 1,000, so we can just attack, and that is exactly full. Okay, in the third and final game, we are playing the expensive version. And thankfully, in the expensive version, we have more of a chance going second because our skill just gives us a guy for free, like, you know, every single modern skill made in the year 2025. Our player is playing Chimeras, which is a bit annoying, but we could still probably cut them off a lot of their follow-up just by sequencing our cards optimally. So a lot of their interruptions come from them having Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on their field. So because our Exceeds monster, which is our main form of removal, is a quick effect, we can go to battle, punch over the fusion, and then use the removal during our battle phase after we remove the fusion on the field, because while the illusions cannot be destroyed by battle, the fusions are not illusions except for the level 8 one, so we can just punch over it if we need to. But we have the Book of Eclipse, so we can at least get rid of the things on the field first. But they can still Chimera Fusion to make another copy of the fusion to turn on all of the interruptions in the graveyard. They're going to handle it during the end phase, but we do not plan to leave any cards in our hand. We're gonna summon Valor, but because we don't have another level 9 in our graveyard other than more copies of Mardell, we cannot summon anything because we can only control a single copy of Mardell. So we will only be able to make one rank 9 and nothing else, but that should still be okay. Opponent will try to revive back a Mirror Sword Side, that's okay. We can beat over the fusion as we talked about. And then now they can't negate our monster. And we can now make Yomangadam suck up 2 of their guys, punch, do nothing because it's an illusion and cannot be destroyed by battle. And then during their turn, we can summon 2 more tokens and then summon another guy from our deck, and then yeah, our opponent can't beat the follow-up.